Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon, dear viewers. Today, Dhaka International University has arranged an international webinar about the topic titled Human Safety Must for Financial Service Sectors and the Businesses to Survive under COVID-19 pandemic with newer products in newer forms. I grateful to Dhaka International University Authority for giving me the opportunity hosting this program. And this program is technically supported by Institutional Quality Assurance Cell, Dhaka International University, and myself, Associate Professor Muhammad Azmir Hussain, Department of Business Administration. And this international webinar is organized by Dhaka International University Authority plus IQAC and Department of Business Administration. And this program is streaming live on verified Facebook page of Dhaka International University, https://www.facebook.com-diu.net.bd. And I am very much grateful to Honorable Chairman, Board of Trustees, Barrister Shamim Haidar Patwari MP, Sir, Vice Chairman, Board of Trustees, Dr. S.Q. Patwari Sir, Honorable Vice Chancellor of this University, Professor Dr. K. Mohsin Sir, and Advisor of Department of Business Administration, Professor Muhammad Selim Bhuiya Sir, Dean Acting, Professor Muhammad Rafiqul Islam Sir, Director IQAC, Dr. Shirajul Islam Pradhan, Additional Director IQAC, Mr. Raisul Islam Sourabh, and Department of Business Administration Chairman S.A. Khan, Coordinator Sodrul Ola Chaudhary Sir, and all faculties of the Department of Business Administration for making this nice arrangement. And we today deeply remember our founder of this university, late Professor Dr. A.B.M. Mofizul Islam Patwari, for establish this university in 1995. He was an ex-professor and chairman, Department of Law, University of Dhaka, a pure academician, a philanthropic person, and after the establishment of this university, he established Faculty of Business Studies in 1995. From the beginning of the date of establishment till now, Faculty of Business Studies and Department of Business Administration are doing very well with its name and fame. Today, Department of Business Administration arranged this live streaming program, international webinar on human safety must for financial services and businesses to survive under COVID-19 pandemic with newer products in newer forms. We invite 5 special guests from home and abroad. And I am introducing my respected guest with my viewers. Today, the international key speaker has selected Dr. Muhammad Sofiullah, CPA, Assistant Professor, La Trobe Business School, La Trobe University, Australia. Welcome, Dr. Sofiullah, at International Webinar arranged by Dhaka International University. Another guest with us, domestic keynote speaker, Mr. Imrul Kaes. Imrul Kaes is Deputy Director at Anti-Corruption Commission, and he was ex-additional Deputy Commissioner, Norsingdi. Thank you, Imrul, to join with us. Our another 3 panel speaker with us from different 3 sectors in Bangladesh. From banking sector, we have invited Mr. Rakib Hassan, Assistant Vice President, ABP, Midland Bank Limited. Welcome, Rakib Hassan, at our program. We have invited a corporate representative from MNC, Mr. Jalal Uddin ACA. Jalal Uddin is General Manager Finance at Robi Asiata Limited. Welcome, Mr. Jalal, with us in this international webinar. We have invited another educationist or public university teacher with us, Mr. Jahid Hassan. Mr. Jahid Hassan is a lecturer at Department of Management Studies, Kumilla University. Welcome, Mr. Jahid, with us in this international webinar. First of all, from this panel guest, I am inviting our international keynote speaker, Dr. Mohammad Sofiullah, CPA, to speech with our audience and our respected viewers. Mr. Sofiullah, please welcome to the speech with me. Sofiullah, are you listening me? Dr.
Yes,
Sofiullah, Assalamu
yes, sir.
alaikum. Assalamu
Walaikum
alaikum, Dr.
salam.
Sofiullah. Dear guest, before going to the speech, I just give a brief summary of Dr. Sofiullah. Dr. Sofiullah is an expert in Islamic banking, finance, corporate governance, climate finance. Dr. Sofiullah at present is an assistant professor at La Trobe Business School, La Trobe University, Australia. Dr. Sofiullah completed his PhD degree from the University of Newcastle, Australia. He completed his master's MSc from Birkbeck, University of London. Dr. Sofiullah is an ex-assistant professor, Department of Banking and Insurance, University of Dhaka, former lecturer in finance and accounting at Charles Darwin University, former lecturer in domestic country, Daffodil International University, and Dr. Sofiullah is a registered CPA at Australia. He completed his MBA and BBA from Department of Finance, Banking and Insurance at University of Dhaka. And I'd like to mention here that Dr. Sofiullah stood second position in HSC 2002. Congratulations, Sofiullah, and welcome at our program. Dr. Sofiullah, as an international financial expert, can you please explain to our audience and viewers, in future, is it necessary for the business and financial service sector to move from general support to specific focus on investment in critical supply like community package or community critical items in home country or domestic country rather than import from foreign country or others country? As an international expert, would you please explain to the audience about this matter?
Okay, thank you, Azmi. I would like to thank you and Dhaka International University Authority for inviting me, and I'm really glad and I'm grateful to you all. This international webinar or seminar, what you have or DIU has organized, I really appreciate it. It is a topical issue and very important issue you have touched base. With the title, Human Safety Must for Financial Services. I will essentially touch more on financial services in line with your title, whether financial service organizations need newer products and in newer forms. So in that regard, I have some points to mention before answering your questions, particularly on production. Let me give you a broader picture first, and then maybe it would be better for our panel speaker to discuss on this issue instead of answering your particular question. So what I'll do, I'll give you a brief, very brief overview on the topic, what you have selected and my views on that. And then maybe we can discuss together, and I will be happy to take question and answer session. So if you see the COVID-19, which is essentially regarded as health crisis. So at the beginning, at the outset of COVID-19, it was really a health crisis. And then over time, gradually, it moves to an economic crisis. And that's the main reason PIU has organized this webinar, because health crisis turns to economic crisis, and all economic agents, including banks, finance companies, non-bank financial institutions, capital market, where stock exchanges has greater role to play to address COVID-19. Why it is important to address COVID-19? That is mainly for the social development, for the betterment of people. People are suffering from health crisis, and at the same time, they are also suffering from financial crisis. And COVID-19, in my view, it is a great opportunity for financial sector in Bangladesh in particular. The reason is, if I share with you one survey outcome that was done in last month, one of the very renowned, reputable organizations, McKinsey, and in their survey they mentioned that 80 to 85% of customers who are directly or indirectly involved in financial services, they prefer digital transactions. So what does it mean? It means customers, like bank customers, they don't prefer to visit branches if they have any option. If there is no option, definitely they need to go there for traditional day-to-day banking activities. Borrowers, they don't want to see bankers. They don't want to see bank office. They don't want to visit there. And all other economic agents, they don't want, essentially what they want an alternative convenient way. I think here all banks and other non-bank financial institutions have something very important to do to increase their digital capabilities. And I'm very sure that Bangladesh financial sector is a very developed one in terms of their financial status, and they have capability to maximize digital capabilities of employees and digital capabilities of the organizations. What does it mean, increasing digital capabilities? It is essentially facilitating customers so that they can do banking without visiting branches. Is it possible at all in the context of Bangladesh? Yes, it is possible. I should thank here government of Bangladesh, because they developed the idea of digitization, digital Bangladesh. And we can continue with that concept if I share with you one very relevant experience. I have a bank account here, but I have not visited my bank in the last 3 years. But I am continuously doing banking. I am depositing money there without visiting, without seeing any bank employees. I am transferring fund. I am paying my utilities bill. I am transferring money to third party. I am transferring money to my home country. I am paying installment. I am paying rent. I purchase products, and I do all things, but I am not going to bank. So what banks they are doing from the COVID-19 perspective, if I tell you, as you have said, for newer products, so I just have only one banking apps, and that gives me a direct access to everywhere. I can do banking, I can transfer money, as I have mentioned. So banks have, I think, very important role here to think about how they can do. One important point I would like to hear mentioned, that educating or engaging customers, it is a very lacking in Bangladesh perspective, I would say. Uh, Banks have training program for their employees, but not for the customers. Because in Bangladesh, we should always acknowledge that people are not that much uh, digitally expert. So bank has a responsibility to make sure that customers, they know how to engage customers for digital transformation. I think banks, they have a very important role here. Then I will quickly move, or I will quickly touch some points for discussion for the other audiences. Other than banking service, like capital market has also important things to learn from the COVID crisis. I think all of you know that Bangladesh stock market was closed for a certain time period, right? And capital market is now in good hand. All very good, talented regulatory members are there. I'm very happy with all those. But point is that when capital market is closed for a long term, that indicates that we need to do something more. None of the countries in this world were closed, and we could not learn essentially the sentiment of customers or sentiment of investors during crisis time, how they play with the capital market or how they think about capital market. We don't know about, because that was a fully closed. So capital market has important role to learn how to make or transfer all of their trading activities online. It is possible. Like as I am teaching in university, for my learning experience, I have opened account with the ASX, Australian Securities Exchange, and I never visited a brokerage house. I never saw any single person, but I can buy share, I can sell share. I have apps. I can transfer money from my bank account to my securities account, and then I can after selling, I can again transfer if there is any profit in my bank account. So it is very easy, convenient, and I can make sure that I am safe. ASX authority, they are making sure that customers are safe. They don't need to go out. So stay home, the policy, we can very easily comply here. So I believe the regulatory bodies at the moment working with the SEC or BSEC, they are very expert. So they will take some important lesson from this COVID crisis, and in newer forms they will come up. My last point, and then I will answer your question. Uh, in Bangladesh, particularly in banking sector, more than 20% market share is holding by Islamic banks, Islamic finance institutions. So from this COVID crisis, I will emphasize and I will try to attract attention of Islamic finance organizations. They have very, very important role to do, particularly for the development of the society in line with the sustainable development goal. Let me very quickly, I will clarify in 2 minutes time, and then I will give the floor to you, Asmir. Why I said, or I am emphasizing that Islamic finance sector has important role to play. I categorize what Islamic finance can do in three forms: in short term, in long term, and in the middle term. So all of you, we know that zakat, it is one of the concept of Islam, and we consider it as a social finance. So why I'm bringing this point here, because this is very, very relevant with the COVID crisis addressment. How it is related? If you see zakat, I think everybody, all of you are also paying zakat. Zakat is an immediate disbursement, and it is a cash transfer to the society, right? So when we are in crisis, economic crisis, people are vulnerable, particularly small business owners and other low income group of people. They are vulnerable. Zakat definitely helps people to address or to at least survive during COVID crisis. And in the middle term, like commercial banks, what they are doing, Islamic banking, that is called commercial financing. They have here very important role, that Islamic banks has a philosophy which is called profit and loss sharing business. And as an academician, I know that the practice of profit and loss sharing is very limited across countries. I did study in 28 countries, and I found rarely that Islamic finance organization, they are directly involved in profit and loss sharing. So during COVID crisis, more than 50% of SMEs, small and medium enterprises, were affected, and they are really vulnerable. And Islamic finance organizations, they have important role to play with the vulnerable group so that they can overcome the crisis. And the very last one, I said long-term financing, and which is one aspect of Islamic finance is called shukuk. Like in line with the in the leadership of World Bank, they are now developing a vaccine shukuk. So a shukuk is a form of funding to the government, form of funding to the business organization, like Islamic finance organizations, even the BSEC, they have this opportunity now to develop a new product to overcome the COVID crisis. And I'm now I'm concluding my session. I take a long time just to give you a overview on your topic. You rightly pointed out that whether domestic production should be given priority. Look, Azmir, it will be difficult just to focus only on domestic product because this is an integrated. All distribution channels are linked and internationally linked. But in the domestic market, I will say that there should be some priority, which we call social impact investing, which sectors or which particular product is more important for the society, and regulators can come up with some policies like in Bangladesh, we have a medical education is very established education, but we have very limited medical research opportunities, medical research lab, and university and medical college, they can collaborate together, and they can focus for newer product development to address health crisis in future time. And also universities and industries, they can work together in to select the priority product sector instead of just focusing more on domestic product, because at the end we need to take comparative advantage of international business, right? So based on the need of our society, based on the social impact investing concept, I think we should then prioritize which particular production we need to focus more for Bangladeshi development, like development of the rural areas, development of agri industries, development of SME industries, development of light engineering. Those are the things essentially after the COVID, I think we'll be able to cover.
Thank
Azmi.
you. Thank you, Dr. Safullah, for your nice observation, nice opinion. And I think our viewers and our students, our colleagues will learn a lot for your from your observation. Now, Dr. Safullah, I am asking you another two equal question like the global COVID-19 pandemic has changed our experiences as customers, as employees, as employers, as citizen, as human being, and our attitude and behavior are changing day by day. As an expert, can you explain to us, is it possible that aftermath of the pandemic, maximum financial service sector and business sector will be able to continue the connecting of production, distribution, and sales with the changing habits of the customers? Is it possible? Please, would you please explain it? Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. As I have mentioned, that customers' preference has changed after this pandemic, but it will not be a very long-term impact. Like I'm not a health expert, so I should not comment on that. But based on the empirical or other suggested evidence, we assume, or at least we hope that maybe in early next year, all financial sectors or business organizations, they will go in the pre-pandemic positions, and the economy will run smoothly, but it may take some more time. But the point I mentioned here, particularly relevant for Bangladesh, that we need to think how to make the process digital. And digitally doesn't mean that just giving access to internet or access to mobile phone. we need to incorporate digital transformation in all of our business activities. Like even if I add here one more example from like in Australia, particularly in mortgage financing, like I know one case that one particular individual bought one house and they take mortgage loan from bank, and he shared with me that he even didn't see the any lawyer, he didn't go for any offices for registration and other things. What the process is, they just need to appoint one solicitor, and the buyer will also, seller will also appoint one solicitor, and then these two solicitors will work electronically. They don't need to go anywhere. I think we have a lot of challenges back home in land registration, in property purchases, in mortgage financing. So, if regulatory authorities, I think they are very, very careful, particularly government is really, really motivating and investing a lot of money for to transform Bangladesh in a digital form, and business organizations should grab this opportunity. And Azmir, I'm very sure that Bangladesh particularly will be able to come back pre-pandemic position very soon, maybe early next year.
Thank you, Dr. Safiullah. Thank you very much for your observation. Inshallah, we will come back to you again. Now, I am inviting our another domestic keynote speaker, Mr. Imrul Kayes, Deputy Director of Anti-Corruption Commission, the People's Republic of Bangladesh. Welcome, Mr. Imrul, at our webinar. And now, I will speak with you about some matter. Before going to the session, I just give a brief introduction of Mr. Imrul. Mr. Imrul Kayes is the Deputy Director of Anti-Corruption Commission at present. Formerly, he was Additional Deputy Commissioner, ADC, Norsingdi District, former Program Coordinator at UNODC, United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime. Mr. Imrul was former Executive Magistrate and AC Land or Assistant Commissioner of Land at Khagrasuri, Matiranga Hill District. Mr. Imrul was former Assistant Commissioner and Executive Magistrate at DC Office, Sunamganj. Mr. Imrul was former Assistant Commissioner and Executive Magistrate at DC Office, Kishorganj. He studied Masters in Economics at the Australian National University. He studied his MBA and BBA at Department of Management Studies from University of Dhaka. Mr. Imrul was an ex-Notre Dame student. Welcome, Mr. Imrul, to the session. And you know that during COVID-19 pandemic, the global leading countries, developed countries, are rapidly turning their attention and long-term plan to the next. Next means after pandemic, what will be normal or may not be normal. In that unknown possibility, unknown economic recovery with the competitive threats and opportunities, different obstacles may become. As a government top-level executive, as a DD of Anti-Corruption Commission, with your practical experience in root level all over the country, can you explain to our audience or viewers that our government attention about our government plan to economic recovery during COVID-19 and after COVID-19? Thank you, Imrul.
Thank you, Asbir. Can you hear me?
Yes, we are hearing you.
Okay. I also thank and welcome all of our fellow mates here who are attending this session. I also thank DIU to arrange this session. This is a timely session to discuss amongst some of our same-minded people. I felt my heartfelt gratitude to DIU to arrange this. Like many other countries in the world, Bangladesh has also been suffering from this COVID pandemic since March 2020. So this is the fourth month at a row that we have been suffering this virus, unseen virus. And so far, Bangladesh has been doing satisfactory, I would say. I mean, compared to other countries in this region and compared to other countries, other developed countries. So far, I mean, if you know the statistics, till today, it is a total number of identified infected people are like 156,000, and total deaths around 1,500 confirmed COVID deaths. There are some other people who died with COVID symptoms, but not officially acknowledged as COVID patients. But officially, it's around 1,500, so it could be even more. I mean, if we consider the people who died with COVID symptoms. So the topic that we are discussing today, in human safety, um, what is the topic? The human safety is must for business to survive under COVID-19 pandemic with newer products in newer forms. In fact, human safety is always the first priority. I mean, even in normal situation. Now this is some abnormal situation. We are going through some tough situation, never seen before, never had before in last 100 years almost. So in this situation also, safety is always first. Now the question comes: if we consider human safety, whether it will hinder economic growth or production. Well, I mean, there is a dilemma. I mean, some people say yes, we have to continue our economic activities as usual. I mean, that will be like business as usual. And some people also said no, human safety must be ensured. So while ensuring human safety, if production is slowed down or growth is slowed down, that is not a problem. I also support that human safety must be considered at the very first place. Like you see, in the very first 2 months or 2.5 months, there was a lockdown situation in the country that was really necessary. I mean, from late March to late July, so late June. So this almost 2 months, more than 2 months, were like a lockdown situation in the country. All the activities, I mean, there was a like general holiday, and that was necessary. And because of that lockdown situation, probably now our overall COVID situation is not that much worse. I mean, compared to other countries, like other developed countries even. So we cannot say that that lockdown was ineffective. There might be, I mean, there is no limit of perfection. There could have been better result, but we cannot say that is not effective. Of course, that lockdown situation had some effects, positive effects. Now, in this situation, in the very short term, if we if we emphasize on human safety at the very short term, there might be some slowing, or there might be some hampering in production. Like business, if we maintain social distancing or physical distancing in production facilities or in services, the total output might be lower than the normal situation. But in the longer term or in the even middle term, we will be used to with this system. Like in the middle term, business will come up with new innovative ideas to actually maximize their production, to take the production level back from pre-COVID situation. So it is not a problem. And you see, the economic, if the production level or the human safety is not given the priority, then how will the business be run? Like production or service, whatever we say, they are always run by people. So if my people are not safe, then how will we run our businesses or our products? How will we serve our customers or consumers? That's why our people's safety is always must, whatever the situation is. Even if the growth is slower, GDP or a business growth or profit, whatever it is, we have to put foremost importance on our safety of our people. Now, you see, safety does not mean that it is stopped. Safety means it will grow slowly at the initial stage. Then over the period of time, it will take full pace with new invention, new ideas. Now in Bangladesh, you already have seen that after the lockdown situation, since July, I mean last 1 week, we observed that situation is getting normal. I mean, with some safety measures. And being a developing country, it is always difficult to maintain all the health rules. I mean, the social distancing or maintaining other routes. It is really challenging. Like we have like 180 million people, 18 crore people. Like Dr. Safiullah is in Australia. Australia has around 2.5 crore people, if I'm not wrong. Like in Bangladesh, we have 2.5 crore school-going children. So it's much more challenging in Bangladesh to maintain all these things. So Australia can easily claim that yes, we have successfully done this, but you have like 1/6 of our population, while Australia has like 40 times bigger mass of land. So it's challenging for us. And now, what strategies our government can do or our business organizations can take? Like government, it has been doing many things. So in developing countries, it is really difficult for the government to cope up those challenges alone. Like this situation will have some opportunities for digitization of the businesses, services, production, etc., etc. Like you see, in last 10 years, Bangladesh has been going through some digitization process, and we call it digital Bangladesh. So now we have the backbone. We can work on this backbone. The platform is ready. Like government has done this. Even in the remote area, remotest area of the country, in a remotest village of the country, you will see there is 2G internet. At least in many villages, you will see 3G internet. So it's a good opportunity, and it's a strength as well for businesses to come up with innovative products, innovative ideas in services, in goods, in financial services as well. Like you see in Australia, I mean, as Dr. Shafila says, that he can do everything, every financial transactions from through his mobile phone, staying at home. And these things, not all the things can be done in Dhaka as well. Even I am also doing the same thing. I don't go to bank. I cannot recall when I went to bank last time. So, I mean, not all banks give these services, but there are some banks in Dhaka as well, I mean, in Bangladesh, who give these services. This is the how it is possible, because the government has created that digital backbone, and using that backbone, all business organizations can come up with their newer products, newer services. Now, what can even production houses do? For example, we have seen in last 2 or 3 months, there are some demands of some specific services, some specific goods as well. So this could be taken as an opportunity. And as you know, in economic theories, like we call it Say's law. Say's law says demand, supply creates its own demand. I mean, supply creates demand, demand creates supply. If there is supply, demand will automatically come, and if there is demand, supply will come. Like that's the way economy actually work. Like if production houses come up with goods, people will buy that goods, and if people buy that goods, more supply will come in and more employment will be generated. That's why that's how the whole economy will be energized. And this is the philosophy behind all the stimulus packages government all over the world is providing to the businesses. They're providing cash transfer to their people. Like Bangladesh, we don't have much money. Our government doesn't have much money. Even after that, our government is providing cash transfer to the marginal people. Like the last 1.5 months, government has given 2,500 taka to around 50 lakh families. So this is one form of cash transfer. So this money will make those families capable of purchase some goods or services. And if that family goes, I mean, if the family who will receive that 2,500 taka, it's not a big amount of money, but it's something. That family will buy something from shop, groceries or some services, and that the groceries will come from some production houses. That means production will be energized. So in a way, the whole economy will be energized. So the purchasing capacity of the people has to be increased, and that's what government is doing now. And it's not only the government's duty; it's also the business entities' duty to keep their employees' economic condition in a workable situation. Like if the employees of a company is capable of purchasing something, or economic condition of their employees is good, they will be satisfied. They will work for the company in a better way, in a motivated way, even in this pandemic situation. As a result, overall production of that company must increase. So, if all the business organizations provide salaries or support to their employees, uh, in general, the burden on the government will be reduced, and the people in general will be more capable of purchasing goods, and their overall demand of the economy will increase. As a result, the whole economy will be benefited. So that could be the newer challenges. How in the shorter term, people's purchasing capacity or purchasing power could be maintained. And not only government, business organizations can also play important role in this regard. This is one of my propositions here. Another one is as I mentioned earlier, that digital Bangladesh is already in a significant has achieved a significant progress. So using that this backbone, all business organizations can come up with their newer services, newer tools, and new ideas, so that their their business is not hampered in the medium term or in the longer term. Maybe in the shorter term, the business will be hampered, but in the medium term or in the longer term, it will go back to the normal situation if they use the digital Bangladesh facilities properly, if they could come up with innovative products and goods and services. And lastly, that I would like to say that the question was asked by Azmi is like developing countries' long-term strategies. So that was Azmi's question. Yes, like all other developing countries, Bangladesh has even more potentials than any other developing countries. You see, this pandemic has created some opportunities. Of course, this pandemic is a catastrophe for all of us, for the mankind, but it has created some opportunities as well. Like you see, even during this catastrophe, this pandemic, or after this pandemic, even if normal situation prevails, there will be a paradigm shift of production, global production facilities. Like China now is the largest production hub for the whole world. So what will happen after the pandemic becomes normal? Probably the production facilities from Chinese mainland will shift to some other countries. So where will those production facilities go? Some other countries which are nearby to China, plus those countries which have ample human resources, manpower, I mean, inexpensive manpower. So Bangladesh could be one of those countries which will receive those investment, and Bangladesh had this infrastructural facilities as well. For example, in last 10 years, we have created at least 10 to 15 economic zones. We have huge land areas specially designed for investors, national or international. Those economic zones have already been created, at least 10 to 15. Government has a plan to establish at around 100 economic zones. So I guess around 10 to 15 or even 20 such economic zones have already been established. So if international production houses shift from China to other countries, Bangladesh has some production facilities readily available for those firms. So Bangladeshi business people, community can tap that potentials. So this is the long-term or medium-term strategy that developing countries like Bangladesh can adopt. So that is the question that you asked me at the very beginning. So this is the answer.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now I would like to conclude. Thank you again. So hope to talk to you again when my turn comes. Thank you.
Inshallah. Thank you very much. Thank you, Imrul, for your nice observation. So far, I know you are the COVID-19 protection team leader at Norsingdi. That is why you know lot of things more than us. Now I go to. I like to mention a sad news to that our keynote speaker from international side, Dr. Mohammad Sofiullah, has another session with Australian Government University at 6:20 at Bangladesh time. That is why we have to leave Dr. Sofiullah from this session because he have another session. And thank you very much, Dr. Sofiullah, that you give your valuable time after you have another session with Australian Government University, but you give us valuable time. Dhaka International University, Department of Business Administration, and especially myself, we are very much grateful to you. And at last, you can conclude with a sentence about our viewers that we are the representative of Department of Business Administration, Dhaka International University. You just give a sentence to our viewers about their future plan, their skill, how they can cope up with this situation, and how they can cope up with aftermath of this pandemic situation. And you can leave from this session. And thank you, Safullah. Now say something to us, and you joined another session with Australian Government University. Dr. Safullah.
Thank you, Azmir. Again, I apologize for this. This is really a very important appointment I have. I need to leave early. I'm very sorry for this. But I thank Dhaka International University, and I thank you, Azmir, particularly for arranging such a great webinar. And this kind of webinar was really, really needed. And I'll be very happy to join in future time if needed for Dhaka International University students for any reason. And I would like to share with you that from my end, as I'm working here in a public university, so if there is any possibilities, or if we can find out any way out to do any collaborative activities with Dhaka International University, with students of Dhaka International University, with academic staff of Dhaka International University, definitely I will work on it. And I think Dhaka International Authority, University Authority, through you, they can also, if they come up with any kind of suggestion or anything they would like to have with us, with our university, La Trobe University in Australia, for research collaboration, for academic collaboration, for student exchange, or any particular academic related activities, I will definitely try from my end very best so that we can go together, La Trobe University and Dhaka International University. And for the students, I know you have a lot of students viewer here. What I should say to you, students are really facing a challenge. Maybe in another session we can talk regarding this issue, like our students here in Australia, they didn't lose one single day because when the pandemic started, next day we moved to online teaching. And we completed semester 1 in due time with all results has been published. So there is no issue for the students. But in back home, we have some issues we need to acknowledge. As I have mentioned, Bangladesh government is really doing fantastic job for digitizing Bangladesh, and students are getting opportunities. But I would say to all students, don't worry. It is a health crisis and everybody is facing this challenge. Definitely a good time is coming, and you will find definitely a good future. And just do hard work and be strategic. You need to be strategic how to use your good time. And if you guys need any help, any suggestion, any advice regarding your higher study, regarding any job, I will be really happy to help you.
Thank you, Dr. Safullah. Thank you very much that our students are viewing this program, and inshallah, I hope for your consent, they will be very much happy to hear that you are you are ready to give any other facilities to them for higher study or job. Thank you to join with us, and thank you very much. We are very much grateful to you. Inshallah, we will contact with you for further next more collaboration program with Latrobe University, Australia, and Dhaka International University. Thank you, Dr. Safullah, for
And
connecting with us.
can I also Asmit thank to other panel speaker. I apologize to all of you, Rakib. I could not hear your valuable insights as I have to leave. Maybe we will catch up again in future in another program. So stay well and keep safe.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now I am requesting our another panel speaker from our private commercial banking sector area, Mr. Rakib Hassan. Rakib Hassan at present is an assistant vice president ABP at Midland Bank Limited. Mr. Rakib completed his MBA and BBA major in finance from University of Dhaka. Mr. Rakib was recommended for Upazila Statistics Officer in 35th BCS, but he didn't join at the government job. I didn't know why, and today we have to try to learn. Mr. Rakib was ex-principal officer at Al Arafa Islami Bank Limited. Rakib was ex-senior officer at the Premier Bank Limited. I like to mention here that Rakib was former vice president at Bangladesh Chhatra League, Dhaka University. Mr. Rakib was stood 8th position in HEC 2002 from Adhyapak Abdul Mojid College, Kumilla Board, and Mr. Rakib was from Nobinagar, Brahmanbaria. Welcome, Mr. Rakib, at our session, and thank you very much that you join with us at Dhaka International University organized International webinar. As a banking expert, you have lot of experiences in different area. During COVID-19, our university, our business sector, and different sector are at home. They are doing their activities from home side. They are staying at home. But it is very much difficult for bankers. That bankers are in their duty, on their duty. Bankers and banking sector is ongoing same as previous in regular mode. Many bankers affected by COVID positive, some were died. We are very much shocked for them. If the pandemic continues for longer period and if infected more banking connected people or banker, how to plan by the bankers and the CUs on ongoing pandemic and post-pandemic banking sector operations. As a banking expert and top-level executive, can you explain to our viewers about this matter? Rakib?
Thank you, Azmir. First of all, I would like to thank Almighty Allah who protect us from the pandemic situation, and I would like to thank the authority of Dhaka International University to organize such type of fantastic program. Hello, Azmir, can you hear me?
Yes, we are hearing you.
Hello. Then I would like to remember with respect to the father of our nation, Bangladesh Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, and also remember the 30 lakh people who lives sacrificed their lives for our independence. Now, a special thanks to our Honorable Prime Minister, Mother of Humanity, Sheikh Hasina, to take the timely decision against the pandemic situation. Now, most of the bank, now 59 bank in the economy, fourth generation and third generation, fourth generation bank already introduced the digital account open. Actually, clients go physically in the branches or offices to open the account. We can upload the account opening from in the website. They can easily enter into the website and they can fill up form and submit it. After submission, our bank official will look after it, and if they need, they will collect the hard copy from the client. On the other hand, no, all banking service like account statement, account balances, and fund transfer, they do for the mobile banking. Just a customer will enter into the internet banking and they can easily do everything except deposit money. They can do everything through the mobile. So I think few bank already this is the new product. Our client is not habituated or client is educated with this. So that's our client most of the client is not educated, is not habituated with the system. But if they are educated, if they are habituated with the system, then no need to the uh, branch physically. So also to utility bill like this could be Disco, WhatsApp or BRT bill, they can easily pay through the internet banking. So after post-pandemic banking sector operation, what will be actually already bank introduced the digital product. So no, a customer will no need to go the bank, but our first speaker, Mr. Sukula, well said that our client need the trading to the customer. That is true, but bank already introduced this, but the client did not know the service. So main responsibility of the banker to, after post pandemic, educate the and introduces the system to the client. On the other hand, other services like foreign exchange transaction and the credit mortgage service, mortgage financing, everything can do through email. So the business people no need to go the bank. So after post pandemic, the banker, it is banker responsibility to educate the and introduces the new system to the client.
Thank you, Mr. Rakib. Thank you very much for your valuable speech, and thank you for joining with me. Rakib, you have already told about your operations and the banking position after COVID-19 pandemic. But during COVID-19, lot of customers already affected because they're trying to get loan from bank, but banks are not giving loan to them, and lot of customers already loses their businesses, loses their different opportunities. And what is now the immediate setup plan and future business plan by the private commercial banking sector? Can you explain to us that what is your next business plan for the businessmen and the loser people? How you can give them support during COVID and after COVID? Rakib, are you listening me? Rakib, maybe Rakib is freezing. Okay, don't worry, maybe network problem. Now I want to go our another guest from corporate sector. From corporate sector, General Manager Finance, Robi Asiata Limited.
Actually,
General Manager Finance, Robi Asiata Limited, Mr. Jalal Uddin ACA. Mr. Jalal Uddin ACA, because Rakib's network was freezing, that is why I am connecting to you. Mr. Jalal, I am giving you a brief introduction that Mr. Jalal was ex-manager of audit and assurance at A. Kashem and Company, Chartered Accountants. It was a member firm of Ernst and Young Global Limited. Mr. Jalal completed his CA degree from A. Kashem and Company Chartered Accountants, a member firm of Ernst and Global Limited. Mr. Jalal completed his MBA and BBA, majoring AIS degree from Russia University. I like to mention here that Mr. Jalal was first position in his MBA and second position in his BBA. Mr. Jalal stood 16th position in order of merit in 2002 from Adhyapak Abdul Majid College, Kumilla Board. Mr. Jalal was from Deviddar, Kumilla. Welcome Jalal at our session. Jalal, thank you very much to join with Dhaka International University organized international webinar. Mr. Jalal, you are a corporate representative, and as a corporate executive, MNC executive, can you explain to the viewers of this program what the perceived risks are in corporate sector now and after COVID-19 globally and domestic country like Bangladesh? Please explain to us and give suggestion to the viewers about this matter. Mr. Jalal.
Dear Asmir, thank you so much. Can you hear me, dear Asmir?
Yes, we are hearing you clearly.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Thanks for inviting me. COVID-19 crisis is unique. It already hit most countries, most industries simultaneously. A global survey based on response given by more than 500 professionals, they have viewed what are the perceived risks for domestic, local and multinational companies. There will be a prolonged recessions of the global economy due to this COVID-19 crisis. And the small and medium enterprises and firms, they may face bankruptcies due to this COVID-19 crisis. And due to this crisis, there will be a wave of industry consolidation, merger, and acquisition. There is also a risk of cyber attacks and data fraud due to sustained shift in working pattern, because due to this COVID-19 crisis, the working pattern has shifted. Most of we are working from home, and few industries will not be able to recover properly in certain countries, because in most companies they didn't have any business continuity plan to face this crisis situation. And there will be extended disruption of global supply chain due to transportation impact. And there will also be a tighter restriction on the cross-border movement of people and goods. And another global outbreak may also happen, and there may also different infection disease. And there is also a chance of sharp increase in inflation due to COVID-19 situation. And to overcome this, to save ourselves, we have to start changing our way of business and have to act right now.
Then my
Yeah.
another discussion, earning discussion, or my another request to you to say about what is the job of CEO of corporate sector, like Robi or like any telecommunication sector, like Square or any other company or MNC company. What is the job of a leader of the companies, or what is the job of the CEOs of the MNCs in this pandemic and after this pandemic? Can you explain to the viewers about this matter?
Thank you, Asmir. Actually, there will be a dual demands in this crisis. People want to be heard and they want to be led. The business leader or CEO should understand and feel what other people's perception from their experience, and they should establish genuine bonds with employees. In this crisis moment, the leader should prioritize their conflict of demands, because to survive in this pandemic situation, there are a lot of options. You have to prioritize your demand to survive, and to communicate immediately and clearly to all the relevant stakeholders to execute your plan. And then you have to set your goals, monitor progress, and pivot quickly. In this crisis situation, leaders will have two competing mindsets. One, there may be a defensive playing or offensive playing. The leader will navigate from point to point. He will define required action in short term and also keep the ultimate mission in mind for survival. As there is a, due to COVID-19 situation, there is a paradigm shift of digital transformation. As our international keynote speaker, he already articulated that in Australia, the people can work digitally. As per Oxford Economics, 12.5 million jobs will be automated by 2030. And as per world-renowned management consultancy firm McKinsey, 30% USA job will be automated by 2030. So there is a scope of job vulnerability. Less experience and low earners people will lose their job. So the business leader should what sort of skills and expertise are required to survive in this COVID-19 situation. There is a digital marketing, artificial intelligence is required, business developments and analytics, the coding and programming is required, and our full operations should be fully automated. The business leaders also can implement robotic process automation to process their transaction to survive in this COVID situation.
Thank you, Jalal. And we already invited another education expert to us to discussing with this webinar, and he is from public university side. I inviting Mr. Jahid Hassan. Jahid Hassan at present is a lecturer at Department of Management Studies, Kumilla University. Mr. Jahid completed his MBA and BBA in Management Studies from Kumilla University, and I like to mention here that he was both first position. Mr. Jahid was lecturer at Dhaka International University, Department of Business Administration. Before that, he was the lecturer of Britannia University, Department of Business Administration, Kumilla. Mr. Jahid was completed his HSC from Notre Dame University. That means he was ex Notre Damean. And Jahid is from Narayanganj. Jahid, welcome to our session and organized the international webinar, Dhaka International University. And we, the audience and the viewers, like to know from you that all speakers here are saying about only the bad side of COVID-19 pandemic. As a teacher, we always try to find, because I am a teacher also, we also try to find everything positive and negative, both. We always try to give two-side calculation. One is good side, another is bad side. As a teacher, as an academician, as a researcher of management, can you explain to the viewers, does COVID-19 has any good side, any bright side, any positive impact? Please explain to the audience. Jahid?
Okay, thank you, dear host and my ex-colleague, as I was working in Dhaka International University, and I would like to give thanks to Dhaka International University Authority for inviting me. And as you asked me question about the good side of COVID-19 pandemic, of course, I would say not the bright side. I would say COVID-19 has some brighter side as well in beside of the dark side. As we all know, every crisis come up with some opportunities in disguise, and all we need is to identify those opportunities and grab them and maximize them to the fullest possible extent. And undoubtedly, COVID-19 pandemic will bring a number of good things for the country, particularly for developing and underdeveloped countries. And I would like to mention some points here. And firstly, I would say the background of the COVID-19, that is, a COVID-19 pandemic will forcibly push a number of huge volume of people from such developing and underdeveloping countries, from the urban to the rural areas, as they have already lost their job, or some of their salaries is already decreased to up to 50%, and they are no longer able to afford the higher living cost in the cities. And of this huge population, most of them are educated people, as they worked previously in the cities, and mostly in the private sector, for a salary in average or below average in a scale. And after the movement from urban to the rural, they will find nothing except agriculture or setting up new small and medium scale enterprises. And as you know, necessity is the mother of innovation. When the people will be in necessity, they will come out with some new ideas of business or economic activities, and they will innovate themselves. They will involve themselves vigorously in agricultural activities particularly. And here is an important point I want to mention, that is, agriculture historically we considered is a profession of the uneducated people, but this time the scenario will be reversed, because the educated people, those who have lost the job from the city and come to the village, these educated people will also involve in the agriculture, and they will not feel shy, because they will see a number of people like them is already doing so. And when this bulk of educated people involve themselves in agriculture and apply their knowledge and skill, much higher production with greater diversity will appear soon. And I hope there will be an agricultural revolution. Agricultural revolution is inevitable, I hope. And besides this, I want to say that those who don't have enough land to do agriculture work, they will come up with their own startup in the form of SMEs, and this will accelerate the rural economy. And for sustainable development, harnessing the rural economy could have a great contribution. And moreover, in the urban side, I would like to mention that more and more a number of new service will emerge in the urban centered service sector in parallel those who are existing already. For example, online grocery delivery in the form of e-commerce will capture the sheer interest of the most concerned, and the courier service will experience an ever increasing demand, and this demand will lead to establishment of more of these kind of businesses. And I think there is a lot other positive sides of COVID-19, and these are some issues to explain the bright side of COVID-19 pandemic.
Thank you, Jahid. Thank you very much that we all are speaking about negative side, bad side, but there are a lot of opportunities you have described to the viewers and to us. And thank you very much for your observation. The changing system in education are adapting day by day during COVID-19. Mr. Jahid, can you explain to us about in education sector what changing is doing and what changing is necessary? And as a teacher, what do you think that what programs in the university level should come up during the pandemic for the society and for the betterment of the students? Jahid?
Okay, thank you. A number of changes already appeared, and number of changes are in pipeline, and there is a well-known concept that is called change or perish. Change or perish. The wind of change is already blowing, and all we need is to know how to fly with it. And in this regard, educational institution is not an exception. To survive, the educational institution like university, school, or college must cope up with these changes. In beside of this online version, in beside of the normal online version education, online version of normal education that was previously done in the classroom education, the university may come up with number of services or programs to survive, and they may initiate a ranging different kinds of activities, ranging from redesigning the curriculum to farming in the free spaces in their campuses. They may go for undertaking the industry project. They may go for the research, product development, and content material development, and which can be done by forming different groups consisting of faculty members with the help of the students. They may go for offering some hands-on short-term training and skills development courses. They may allow to use their lab, the university lab, for COVID-19 testing as a community service. They may go for the university or other educational institution may go for offering the e-library membership for the public. They may start farming commercially by releasing unnecessary space in the campus and harvesting those crops for their hostels.
Thank you, Jahid. Thank you very much, because we have time limit 6:50 maybe Maghrib Azan. That is why we have to be very gist now, because I am concluding with Jahid that session, and then I will conclude with Jalal, then conclude with Rakib, and at last I will conclude with our keynote speaker today. Now, Jahid, I want to conclude with you with a suggestion. What should the graduates do now, and how they can prepare themselves at this situation for betterment after COVID-19 and during COVID-19? Please give your observation within a single minute.
Okay, thank you very much. Just exactly 1 week ago, in the last Friday, US President Donald Trump signed on an executive order to hire on the basis of the skill rather than the degree in the most federal position. I mentioned this example because not only US, the most around the world will be practicing this like this. They will go for hiring on the basis of skill, not the degree. That means the employer for hiring decision will not go bother for the degree or we went to the school for degree. Rather, they will go for assessing whether they are capable enough to bring enough skill that can be contributed to the achieving the organizational goal. Okay, as most of the American countries already believe that they are in the fourth industrial revolution. However, the most European countries that say that they are in the third industrial revolution till date. And in the fourth industrial revolution, there are some different skills we have to be prepared our graduate, because to survive in the job market, And these skills may be like, once we say that the computer was very 2 decades back, computer was very rare in our houses, but nowadays it is an part and parcel. And after 1 decade, there are some different skills like machine learning, Internet of Things, big data analytics, and cloud computing, blockchain. These will be the part and parcel. And nowadays, this can be unusual to us, but after 1 decade, it will be the part and parcel of our life. So I want to suggest the graduates to think of these skills, and those who want to start their own business, they may go for the digital entrepreneurship. And digital entrepreneurship is a concept where the digital business activities is done with some digital goods and services. You already know the Amazon Prime, Netflix have earned a record profit though in this pandemic. In the coming days, video content platforms, streaming, gaming, e-payment, e-commerce, and the remote learning will be the mainstream in respect of in the replacement of the traditional brick and mortar setting of business. So these are my suggestions for the graduates.
Thank you very much for your valuable suggestions and guidelines for our freshers and the graduates. Now, I will conclude with Mr. Jalal Uddin. Jalal, because our time limit for Maghrib prayer, I will just want to know from you, what will be the future of financial service sector, MNC, local companies, workforce and business processes? What is your observation and opinion about expert reflection on the pandemic and aftermath of the pandemic? Please explain it to the audience within a minute, because we have to conclude the session before Maghrib prayer. You have 1 minute's time. Please don't mind. Give your observation.
Okay, Azmir, thank you. First of all, thanks to you and Dhaka International University for inviting me. The workforce, as I have already mentioned, most of the peoples are losing their jobs due to this COVID-19 situation, due to less experience and low earners people. So to survive in this market, you have to have digital knowledge on artificial intelligence and analytics, coding and programming. You see, there are some jobs which are at risk. A defined job, physical showroom jobs, retails, and back office and factory. So the entrepreneurs and organizations should fully automate their operational process. And you know, the Fortune magazines compiled and published the ranks of top 500 largest USA corporations, and their CEOs have viewed their post-pandemic situations. 52.4% CEOs think that Q1 2022, the economic activity will return to where it was before the pandemic. 51.1% of CEOs of Fortune magazines think business will never come back to pre-COVID normal. And 75% of CEOs think that there will be accelerated pace of technological transformation in their company. So finally, I'd like to say, to save ourselves, we have to start changing our way of business, and we have to act right now. We have to embrace the changes to remain relevant now and in future. Thank you, Azmi.
Thank you, Jalal, to join with us. Thank you very much. Now I am requesting Mr. Rakib Hassan that for Maghrib prayer we have to close the session. That is why within a minute, can you explain to our audience that physical distancing, social distancing is going to be a determining factor nowadays. And after COVID-19 situation, or during the COVID-19, maybe the workers or the bankers or any general people may be affected or infected by this COVID-19. What will be the bankers and entrepreneurs and the businessmen's new plan, strategy in this situation, on how will they cope up with this situation? Please explain it, this matter or opinion, your observation within a minute, because we have to conclude the session. Don't mind, please. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Azmin. Actually, time is very short. There is a big question. The social distance is very important for COVID-19. Actually, everybody say their life is fast, but I say life is fast for a certain period of time. But after the certain period of time, livelihood is very much important than life. So our government is take the good decision that life and livelihood is continuous simultaneously. So in this situation, workers and organization have to uh, change their strategy. Suppose worker have to change their usual habit, like after going to the office, at the time of going to the office, they have to add the mask, sanitize, and wash the hand again and again, and the organization have to spray of all the employee at the enter the entering time of the office, and disinfect the office equipment daily basis. So that's it, and have to be the have to follow the government's instruction, have to follow the government health rules. Everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rakib, for joining with us now. Our keynote speaker in domestic side, Deputy Director, Mr. Imrul Kayes. Mr. Imrul Kayes, we will conclude our session with your speech, and you have discussed with us about the impact of COVID-19. You have discussed with us the health and safety measures taken by the government, and you have already discussed lot of matters. Now you have to say to the audience, and we are requesting you to conclude with your session about the impact of Bangladesh economy during COVID-19 and after COVID-19, and what is the observation of government, and as a government representative, will you explain to the audience, and it will be conclude session. Thank you, Mr. Imrul. Okay. Hello, Imrul. Please unmute you. You are muted. Imrul, you are muted. Please unmute you first. Imrul, you are muted. Okay, Imrul, thank you.
Okay, can you hear me
Okay,
now?
yes, you are hearing.
Okay, I will finish it very shortly. During COVID crisis, government has already been suffering from some economic shocks. This is an economic shock to the all over the country, even in Bangladesh as well. So the economic growth, the GDP growth that we have been enjoying, like around 7+% in last 5 to 6 years. This year, immediate last year, it will be around 2 to 3% GDP growth. So this is government's assumption, and as well as my personal assumption. But in the next financial year, I am very much optimistic the situation will get normal gradually. And because there is sufficient stimulus packages for the businesses, economies, and there is another opportunity that newer investment, foreign direct investment or foreign investment, will come into the country, into the economy, because of other production destinations like China or Vietnam. They'll be more competitive, more expensive. So some of the production houses will move into Bangladesh in next couple of years. So there will be more economic activities in post COVID situation. So I expect there will be a much better situation in Bangladesh economy after the COVID situation. This is my expectation, and this is also this also has some logic that I have pointed out, that yes, some more production facilities will shift to Dhaka or shift to Bangladesh. So this is my conclusion. And finally, I would like to thank DIU and thank Ajmer Hossain for hosting this event. I also thank my other colleagues, other discussions here, like Rakib, Jahid, and Jalal, to let us know valuable insights on this much talked about issue. Thank you very much.
Thank you, the viewers. Thank you, the panels. And today joined Mr. Muhammad Sofiullah, PhD, CPA, joined Imrul Kayes, Deputy Director, Anti-Corruption Commission, Bangladesh, joined Mr. Rakib Hassan, ABP Midland Bank Limited, Muhammad Jalal Uddin, ACA, General Manager Robi, and Muhammad Jahid Hassan, lecturer Kumilla University. Thank you very much for joining with the session. And I again gratitude to Dhaka International University, IQAC, Department of Business Administration, for arranging such a nice program. And the viewers, stay home, stay safe, maintain social distancing, and inshallah next we will arrange a greater program by the fund and by the opportunities given by Dhaka International University. Till then, Allah Hafiz. Best of luck.